we do? 3, 4, turn it up more. 5, 6, can you do it like this? 7, 8, and don't be late now. Nah, everybody come on. Everybody come on. Everybody come on. Everybody come on.
Like a 9 to 5, let me see you work. Like a 9 to 5, let me see you work. Work that, work that. Like a 9 to 5, show me how to work, work.
Feel so good, I've been working it out. Now let the haters try talk, I've been drowning them out. Go ahead, get the work, then wide out. Hit me with the low fee, I need a higher amount. Get it one more time, 365. This throwback here for the 99. Knees to your thighs, reach for the sky. Ain't no PTO time, I'm just trying to get the work, 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 work. 1, 2, show them how we do. 3, 4, turn it up more. 5, 6, can you do it like this? 7, 8, and don't be late now. Nah, everybody come on. Everybody come on. Everybody come on. Everybody come on.
Like a 9 to 5, let me see you work. Like a 9 to 5, let me see you work. Work it out, work it out. Like a 9 to 5, let me see you work.
Who you know bustin' like this? 2 by 2 plus all my friends. They don't know how we got in. 1, 2, 3, I plead the 5th. Work it out like a marathon. Had to hit 'em with the high five of motor car. Swing for the fences like Barry Bond. Got the track running wild like the Amazon. Ay.
Work that, work that, work that. Like a 9 to 5, let me see you work. Work it out, work it out. Like a 9 to 5, let me see you work.
Everybody come on.
1, 2, 3, on.
Everybody come on now.
Work that, work that.
Everybody come on.
1, 2, 3, on.
Everybody come on now.
Work that, work that. 1, 2, 3, on. Work that, work that. 1, 2, 3, on. Work that, work that. Work that, work that, work that, work that, work that, work that.
You have the right to remain silent. Sun's up, it's a new day, make the fire. Put your boots on, we about to get higher. Makeup, show up, pick a side, yeah, bring it, got it, pop it. Hey, starting soon, it's a new day, pick a trigger. Fill up the cup away, bigger, better, sugar. Bring it, got it, pop it. It's a new generation, move aside, got it. Just don't get to zero. Let go, aim your arrow. Break the shackles, prepare for battle. It's here and now. Life a game, word a stage, drop it in and find a place. It's on, show must go on. Welcome to the new world. Show must go on. Like the flame, break the cage, rage, ripping out the page. It's on, the show must go on. Welcome to the new world. Show must go on. Unstoppable, no rules, anything possible. Phenomenal, we're optimal, unbreakable. Victorious, truly we take it seriously. No uncertainty, just count to 3, the future's free, you'll see. We growing, glowing, taller than the trees, yeah, we can feel the breeze. Let's get it going, gonna ball, gonna roar, cause we hear the call. Faster and faster, beast mode, we can think about it after. We so much better, to the street, feel the heat, cause we the new masters. Wake up, get your weapons drawn. Sun's up, face your fears head on. It's on, it's on. We gonna spell victory. It's on, show must go on. Welcome to the new world. We gonna go down, down in history. It's on, show must go on. Welcome to the new world.
Performing well within a match will give you more points, and playing in rank.
Look, it's a bird, it's a plane, oh my. Crashing a party, meet me in the sky. This is that extraterrestrial vibe. Let me know if you feel it, don't keep it inside. Tell me who do it like this. Up in the air like swish. Shoot my shot, don't miss. Tick, tick, we got the people saying all the way. Ain't no time to waste. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All the way. Ain't no time to waste. Yeah, can you see me now? Up to the stars, can you see me now? I've been around the sun, I'm coming down. Yeah, right now it's just you and me, and we're taking it all the way, all the way. Can you see me now? I've been around the sun, I'm coming down. Yeah, right now it's just you and me, and we're taking it all the way. From the bottom of the ocean, shooting up above. Take you straight to the oasis, come and chill with us. This is exactly what you wanted, it ain't number love. Ain't what you thought it was. We got the people say all the way. Ain't no time to waste. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All the way. Ain't no time to waste. Yeah, can you see me now? Up to the stars, can you see me now? I've been around the sun, I'm coming down. Yeah, right now it's just you and me, and we're taking it all the way, all the way. Can you see me now? I've been around the sun, I'm coming down. Yeah, right now it's just you and me, and we're taking it all the way, all the way. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Burgundies on the oaks,
clouds. If we dream it, believe it, we'll fall into wonder. Walk with me, talk with me for a little bit. Let's get into it. Walk with me, high times, low key, a minute down. Lay back, afternoon chills. Eastside dads getting lost in stories. Sunbathe watches and stills. It's for freedom, a kingdom so weightless and tandem. Chase the eye at our own pace. Cast the cat, it will be okay. Give and take, never hesitate. One by one, we keep on coming. Walk with me, talk with me for a little bit. Let's get into it. Walk with me, high times, low key, a minute down. Walk with me, talk with me. Walk with me, talk with me. Walk with me, talk with me for a little, just a little bit.
Take off more damage and recover faster. Qualing.
I'm ready to rumble, gonna take it down. You can feel the tremble. I'm taking off the ground, head down like a pencil. Up to no good, I'm causing trouble. No, I am not subtle. Better get on my level. I do it, I'm doing it. I do it, I'm doing it. I do it. I'm doing it wild like that. I'm doing it, doing it. I'm doing it, yeah. I'm doing it, doing it. I'm doing it wild like that. I'm doing it, doing it. I'm doing it, yeah. I'm doing it, doing it. I'm doing it wild like that.
Times like these really make me wanna scream.
I can't let go, I need control.
I feel alone and I could really use a team.
I'm on my own and it feels like home.
All these emotions are subliminal, and every single one feels criminal. So I think it's time I hit the interstate. I'll deal with this another day. Hey, it's a lovely day to feel insane. What a lovely day to torture my brain. Get me out, I've been drowning for so long. It's a lovely day to feel insane. I'll sing my thoughts until they turn into a dream. And I lose hope, I tell me things that I don't mean. All these emotions are subliminal, and every single one feels criminal. So I think it's time I hit the interstate. I'll deal with this another day. Hey, it's a lovely day to feel insane. What a lovely day to torture my brain. Get me out, I've been drowning for so long. It's a lovely day to feel insane. What a lovely day to torture my brain. Get me out, I've been drowning for so long. It's a lovely day to feel insane.
And it's less escort phase.
This life is a daydream. Our time is a precious thing. We're searching for meaning in the highs and the lows we've seen. chance in a lifetime. Won't stop till we get it right. When all is said and done, standing on the bright side, can't believe how far we've come. We've only just begun. See the world through new eyes, taking us to great heights. Anything is possible, everything is new, and we'll carry each other, running wild into the night, technicolor blue, and we'll carry each other. It's our time to believe in. We can fly through the ceiling. Our time to believe in. We can fly through the ceiling. Our time to believe in. We can fly through the ceiling. If we hold on to the feeling, hold on to the feeling. Our time to believe in. We can fly through the ceiling. And we'll carry each other, carry each other. Our time to believe in. We can fly through the ceiling. And we'll carry each other, carry each other. Anything is possible, everything is new, and we'll carry each other, running wild into the night, technicolor blue, and we'll carry each other, carry each other.
Is pedal out. She leaps backward and turns invisible for a short while. Falling lacks the ability to escape.
Sun's up, it's a new day, make the fire. Put your boots on, we about to get higher. Makeup, show up, pick a side, yeah, bring it, got it, pop it. Hey, starting soon, it's a new day, pick a trigger. Fill up the cup away, bigger by the night, sugar. Bring it, got it, pop it. It's a new generation, decide, got it. Just don't get to zero. Let go, aim your arrow. Break the shackles, prepare for battle. It's here and now. Like a game, we're the stage, strap it in, I'm kind of place. It's on, show must go on. Welcome to the moon club, yeah. Like the flame, bring the cage, rage, ripping out the page. It's on, the show must go on. Welcome to the moon, yeah.
Welcome back to Super Season 1. We're about to get stuck into some more T3 action here today for North America. It's Playday 4 here in the qualifiers, and man, do we have a show for you today. It's down to just the grand final here in the qualifiers. We already know that both of these teams will be going to the season finals, but who will be going in form? Who will be going in with their head held high? Well, that's what we're going to find out today. I am James Devmata, and of course, I've got some lovely guys here in the studio with me, and not so in the studio, Digital, Smash, and Bang. Smash, I'm just going to say first, I don't think I've ever had the pleasure of working with you before. Been kicking around for a couple of years in the same scene. How are you doing, and how are you feeling to be back for some more T3?
Yeah, it's great. Great to finally work with a legend such as yourself. And no, it's excellent. Really looking forward to more T3. It's been a wild ride so far, and there's a lot to play out still. I mean, Seeding is important, Dev. It's always so important. So many times, the wrong seed gets you the wrong way, especially in those single elimination tournaments. So excited to see what the teams bring today.
That's true. And Bang, of course, haven't worked with you before either, but I hear you're dialing in from Houston, Texas. So thank you so much for joining us. Is this your first day on the T3 broadcast here? I think it might be, right?
This is my second one. Second time with Smash and Digital. What's up, guys? Great to see you again. First time with you, Dev.
Yeah,
nice to meet you. And thanks for having me, guys, on here.
Well, I'm really glad that we do have you here for all your expert analysis. And of course, Digital, couldn't leave you out. But I mean, we're homies at this point. We've been rocking it on the T3 for a while. You're my resident expert here in the studio. I'm always like coming in with my note, Digital, tell me about this. And now we're back to a grand final, hey.
Yeah, pretty much, we're basically sharing chili oils at this point or whatnot, you know how it is. And yeah, another grand final, and this time between two teams that really gave it their all yesterday. So I'm expecting this to go, the distance today as well. Yeah,
we were really rewarded yesterday with the quality of the matches. Of course, the 2-1 we had to say goodbye to after Colt, but we'll dive a bit more into that in a bit. But let's also just quickly talk about this giveaway that we got going on. Very exciting giveaway. Make sure that you guys enter it. You have to submit by the end of the day. Code is on screen, so make sure that you grab that. You don't want to miss out. We'll also plug it at the end of today, but like I said, it does expire at the end of today, so make sure that you get in while you still can. But let's go back to talking about Super Season 1 here. Of course, like I said, Playday 4, we're getting to the finals of the qualifier, and so the winners here will be going to those season finals. Let's talk about how the season works in general. So on your left-hand side, the qualifiers, the first stage of this Arena League tournament here, that's what we're about to culminate today. So we had 8 teams, and we're just down to 2 that are advancing to the season finals. Then, of course, in the coming weeks, we will have the wild cards. Make sure that you guys register for that if you're interested in competing. I'm sure that the 6 teams that didn't make it through these qualifiers will be jumping in there as well. And of course, eventually we'll get to the season finals. Bang, tell me, what are your expectations with the Arena League so far? Going into 5v5, it's really shaken up compared to the old season. What are you expecting out of the wild cards in the season finals?
Coming out of the wild cards for the season finals, there's going to be some really tough competition coming in there. After all, we do have some guys that played their hearts out, like After Cult and a few other teams out there. Really top-notch players coming out there. I do see them coming back into the season, fighting their way out of the wild cards, and we might have 2 surprise teams coming out of the wild cards. It all depends on how well these new teams coming in, play their cards, no pun intended, and how they just, really read the objective. For you guys that are, just entering that circuit, some words of advice for you guys entering these wild cards: give it your all. Get a good strategy, understand the meta, and learn how to play against it. That's the best advice I can give you guys.
That's right. And Smash, the game has been ever-changing, right? We're seeing these updates come out left, right, and center. A lot of balancing updates, some more that were just announced the other day as well. And as we get into the rules of the BO3, Smash, break it down for us. What are we looking at in this BO3 format?
Yeah, well, we go Control, Payload Escort, Payload Escort. So Payload Escort, very, very important. If you can win those 2, then you're guaranteed to move on. Control, though, you need to start off on the hot foot, on the right foot. It is a lot about momentum, and we see that quite often in T3 Arena. If you can get the upper hand on that control map, you can kind of carry that momentum through those Payload Escorts and, well, seal your ticket.
Yeah, and for Control in particular, Digital, we've seen so many tight games, 99%. And yes, like you said, Smash, that form really does translate into Payload Escort, where it's the asymmetrical style.
Yeah, exactly. For Control, because even though the maps are bigger now, Alpha to start on Pro Max, 5v5, it's still a little bit more brawly, skirmishy kind of a thing going on here. But when you move to Payload Escort, as Smash was saying, things get a lot more deep in terms of strategy that the team picks, and at which points throughout the Payload Escort descent do they switch to a different hero just to shoot that certain lane. It's a lot more than just simple, 5v5 on an objective.
Yeah, very true. And let's have a look at some gameplay. Let's have a look at the games from yesterday. We had 2 matches. We qualified 2 teams for the season finals. Kick it off for us, Bang. What did you take away from this first match yesterday?
There was a lot of great positioning coming out of Navs, and also at the same time, we had some really great support coming from Santi. And also on the other end, Mr. Destroy was really holding it down with his Jabali. We had some really good matches coming out of those 2.
Yeah, and so Raihards ended up coming out on top, and admittedly it was a little bit less of a close game, Smash, compared to that second one.
Yeah, I mean, the second game was an absolute barn burner, really. The first game, we had some good moments, especially on Elephant Astana. It took a little bit of time to get going, but there was some pretty decent moments. It's interesting to see how the teams are adapting to the 5v5, playing around that double tank meta as well. And there's a lot more teamwork involved, a lot less skirmishing and individual play, a lot more protect the president of this Gatling, just absolutely just raining hell from every angle. A lot of good rotations as well, so you can see the teams are communicating a lot more efficiently, the ones that are getting chocolates.
Yep, and Digital, we even saw in the balancing notes the developers were talking about that Gatlin, and everyone knows how powerful she is right now. Even in that 5v5 format, right? Yeah, like you were saying, Smash, really focus on protecting that. You've got the space in this 5v5 to just have so many heroes brought to the table. You know, you've always got your tank, maybe 2, maybe even 3 in some cases, and then you're just like protecting that Gatlin, and it works a charm, doesn't it?
Yeah, most of the time it does work a charm, but at the same time, though, it really does come down to which hero you ban out overall, because Gatlin, she can once again be very weak to an Osis, a snipe down from afar, or a fast flanker like a Letta. We've seen that happen throughout this matchup on the screens. And not only that as well, the Gatlin player itself skill comes in so importantly. The target prioritization and also keeping the tanks alive. It's not as easy as it seems.
And Bang, now that we're looking at a Payload Escort match, you know, it feels like we have seen this particular map and this particular payload time and time again, and yet we're still seeing new things brought to the table.
Always, and I mean that's the beauty of these new teams. You know, as the game goes further, as they develop more experience, they develop more strategies, and you know it's really great to see out-of-pocket picks like the earlier we saw Gloria for the first time. I mean that was actually pretty interesting, and seeing that suppression coming out of a really good Gatlin player, you don't really see a lot of that, and that's really good to see. You know, new characters coming into the scene and bringing about new metas to the game.
So much to take away from this first game with Dodgers, Smash? Anything particular? I mean, admittedly, they had a bit of an easier time than Reinhardt. Do you think they're the favorites going into our final today?
Yeah, I do. The Dodgers haven't looked very tested at the moment in their bracket run. That could be the strength of the bracket, but it also could be just the strength of the Dodgers. They look pretty dominant, and they haven't had to force their hand onto that third map. They haven't had to show much, whereas the Reinhardts, they were tested yesterday. They went deep with Aftercult. They might be a little bit more, I guess, nervous going into this, knowing that Dodgers haven't been tested at all.
Yeah, and holistically, it has been an exciting bracket, but there have been some teams that, despite showing a lot of promise, Digital, they didn't quite make it far. Of course, we talked a bit about Aftercult, but another one that really gets highlighted for me is Kombucha Farm.
Yeah, indeed, no. Yes, that we talked about as well. Kombucha Farms, this is a team that of, I think, of 5 really decent ranked players, but they lacks maybe the comms and the deeper level of strategy as the other pro teams have. But still, though, they gave it their all, and at certain times there, Kombucha Farm himself, on Jabali, really did stand up to, you know, the test. But a single Jabali does not necessarily win best of 3s.
Yeah, well, while we've still got the bracket up, Bang, anything to take away from the teams that didn't make it? You know, the 6 teams at the moment highlighted in pink. What are you expecting out of them? Do you think that which ones will make it through the wildcards? In theory, we have 4 spots, right? The 4 best teams of these remaining 6, and any others that sign up will be able to make it through to the season finals. Who do you expect to see there?
I definitely see. Dang, the bracket's just closed. Well, Kombucha Farm, definitely. Once they get into the wild cards, you know, they got the experience now. They know what to expect. And I'm pretty sure, you know, over these couple of weeks that we have before the wild cards comes back, I can definitely see these guys making it back into the final series, along with, we just saw them yesterday. They did a really good game against Reinhardt. Aftercult, definitely see those guys making a comeback too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, let's look now at the 2 teams that have made it through those qualifiers. It's Dodgers and Reinhardts. They're the 2 that we're going to be playing our grand final today out of our seeding match to see who goes in with the front foot. Who was it? One of you guys like jumped in for a second? Did you? No, I thought you were fussing at me to say something. I thought I heard you jump in just before I did. And let's just start honing you on this match, right? So, like we've been saying, like you were saying, Smash, Dodgers haven't really been challenged in this bracket so far. Digital, we also saw Dodgers in the last season finals. As we look into the hero bands, let's start to dissect how these teams will be playing out. Of course, we're going to be starting with the Control, and we've got 2 of the fan favorites, the Gatlin and the Aletas, banned out straight away. Any initial thoughts there, Digital?
Oh, look, you know, we've seen these hero bans yesterday as well. It doesn't really strike me as a big surprise. And also to note as well, Gatlin, I think she probably is the most effective when you start off on Elephant Istana, the control maps, you know? You can post up a certain point, and then when you get the objective, assuming you do, you just play straight up defense behind a shield. It's a strategy that's worked for a lot of these teams. I don't expect it to change, so I'm really excited to see that ban come through. The teams will be tested.
Yeah, just on that, I mean, both of those bans kind of lead you to think maybe there's going to be Johnny Jets coming out, there could be Skadi's coming out. It's something that's a little short in terms of the mid-range hero pool with the Gatlin going out. Aletta getting banned, that's sad for me because I really like watching Aletta gameplay. Yesterday we had a great 1v1 Aletta showdown. They just kept going at each other, and it was such an influential hero on the flanks, getting all of these resources out. So seeing that banned is unfortunate for me, but I think that Johnny Jet can kind of fill that hole.
Yeah, for sure. Bang, break it down for us. What do you expect to see now that two of the most popular heroes have been taken away? Gatlin, we've just been talking constantly about her, and yet she's gone.
Yes. You definitely got to have Gatling out of the way, especially if you have a team that's strongly reliant on tanks. Having a character that can easily shred those tanks and getting that out of the way opens up so much room for so much more potential and so much more strategy as well. They might substitute with Gloria. They might substitute with a Hunter, even though a Hunter can't output as much damage as fast as a Gatling can. Still, just having that utility of vision for the team is extremely useful. With the Aletta out of the way, you know, we can now start playing more snipers. You know, we might see more Osis coming out there now that they no longer have the threat of looking over their shoulders, you know, for the Aletta. So we're actually going to be looking at a game here that's going to be a lot more slower pace, a lot more strategic based, and you know, there's going to be a lot more planning happening here.
Yeah, what I've been super happy to see is how much variety we've had in just the tank activity in general with all these Vanguards, right? Like we saw Ruby really dominate in the season finals. Now Jabali seems to have taken the main stage. When you pair that with a good healer like with Delabala, we've seen it just be so difficult to get players off that point and start contesting. As we're starting to jump into it, Digital, final thoughts, final expectations out of this match?
Oh, final thoughts. I really want to see what Reinhardts can pull out, you know, to go up against the composition of Dodgers. Nagi's going to go crazy. Federal going to go crazy as well. So a tank buster is needed. Yesterday we only did see Mr. Destroyer and Aftercult play Victor to kind of counter the tanks. I don't think anyone is going to be playing that today, so it's going to maybe just come down to straight up war of attrition.
Yeah, well, we are getting into map number 1. We're going to control between Reinhardts and Dodgers. Guys, please take it away.
Yeah, and we already see Double Jabali on the field as well. Some Johnny Jets in the mix. So still seeing some stock standard stuff around the control points, but there is some flair in the mix as well. Have to see how this rollout fight goes. The neutral fight, it's oh so very important. It does look like the 5k room is being ignored for the most part, as Ruby is just setting up on the point.
Yep, Zace's on Hunter, and historically I do think he does perform very well on that hero. Flip as well, no Aletta, no problem. Shell, we haven't seen her much coming to this season, but she's heavily underrated in my opinion. The Sindri pick onto Composer, I don't actually know about that one. I don't really think that she's as effective as either Labial or Neon for that matter. Regardless though, breaking the pathway onto the sites, followed up by an Otis headshot here and there. Hard to find the shots. Here comes Johnny Jet from the back line. Zoros falls. Brian as well. It's a bit of a mode down. Both teams have suffered heavy losses, but they're not giving up just yet.
Yeah, the full HP Jabali on the point is really going to make things difficult for the side of Reinhardts to get control, but it does look like they're going to get that capture flipped over. 23% for Dodgers to start it off. There's nothing to sneer at though, as it's still got Johnny Jet on the capture point, just contesting it out, and Jabali is back for the side of the Dodgers.
Soon to be an equal game at this rate. Here comes the Dodgers leaping onto the sites, but on the flip side though, Reinhardts, the teammates up in the back lines for support. Flip on Shell, eyes on her, she's going to be flanking in, now has joined the fight, and it's complete mow down. Dodgers, they're suffering big losses. I don't think they can strike back anytime soon. It should be done and dusted at this point, but Federal, he is still alive and is rather healthy for just a little bit longer, but for Santi with a double kill to finish the job, and Reinhardts in the lead.
Yeah, Fates was laying out so much damage from the backline there. They got taken out pretty early on in the engagement, but managed to come back and remained a bit unchecked, and with those sight lines just opened up nicely when everyone's spewing onto the point, managing to get some big damage down, as we're already seeing some composition swaps come through.
Yeah, indeed. Brian onto the fade now at this point. I don't think the Jabali was working too well, if memory serves me right. Federal on the Ruby. I don't think we saw that initially either. Regardless, though, it's not doing any good. Santi ultimate online gets that dub. Rest as well. Destroys Brian with his new active ability. Flip chimes in once again, ever so present on the flanks. The Shell melting people one-on-ones with the excellent tracking abilities of the player. And Reinhardts, they just keep on extending their lead.
Yeah, the Reinhardts look dominant at the moment. Yeah, they gave over that first capture, but they didn't give over positioning, which allowed them to flip it over pretty quickly. Only 23% up for the Dodgers, who now are moving on only with the Ruby for that damage mitigation. So they're going to be taking a lot of poke coming in here. They need to start converting out some kills. Fates is again on the board, flicking heads, taking names, and this is going to be the last fight territory for the Dodgers. They need to get something done here.
Look, fingers crossed, really, but I don't think it's going too well for them. They've lost their tanks, and Fates as well. He was landing some crucial shots earlier on. Brian, I don't think we see him on the field anymore. The bait was good for one initially before he got taken down. He's rejoined the fight, though. Maybe that tank can just hold on for a little bit longer, but a 1v4, this is going to be highly unlikely. He pins Santi. Maybe he can finish the job. Not really. The heal is still on board from Zoro, staying alive as Neon for so long. And it should be done at this point. No one else can touch the point. Composer, the Sindri. Once again, man, I just don't feel Sindri is as aggressive enough to actually get onto the objective compared to Neon.
No, and it certainly didn't punish Santi at all on that Jabali, going flawless that round, 7-0. As soon as Santi rocked up on the point, it was pretty much game over. Did not get removed at all. Did so much damage. You mentioned that ultimate in the fight too. Got a nice little two-piece feed with that. So Santi needs to be addressed here. Is it a case of Jabali versus Jabali? We saw them move over to the Fade as well, so they're trying a few different things, but at the moment, the Rock of Santi has not moved.
Yeah, bang, and now look for the Dodgers. It's a complete composition swap as well, and the initial mid-round swap did not work out in their favor at all.
Yeah, it looks like that aggressive play, just going straight in with a bunch of squishies against somebody that, is really good and really prone to holding down that front line like Santi, who just really wasn't in the game plan for the guys over there at Dodgers. They're going to have to really assess the situation and really think about what's the best way to go about this, moving around the tank or just simply taking out the tank. But at the same time, I think that's exactly what Santi wants them to do, and they keep falling into that game plan every time.
Double tank setup. Ruby and Jabali with probably one of the better healers, honestly. Labula in the fray. And Isagi getting caught out right off the bat, though. 1-for-1 trades thus far. Losing Fate is not the end of the world because the main big boy players for Reinhardt are on the objective, fighting and duking it up for dear life. And I gotta say, Reinhardt, it looks like they're struggling a little bit. Dodgers, they're doing a lot better compared to last time, though, with a new composition swap, and that's it. That should be the team wipe, and that's the objective stolen.
Yeah, Reinhardt's again cleaning it up, of course. Dodgers moving off the Johnny Jet as well. They put a Skadi in the mix, so that's a nice mid-range damage, but they need to get around and find some angles to uproot Santi and really disturb the Reinhardts, because at the moment it's all looking a little too easy for the side of the Reinhardts. They were tested yesterday, but they've come out swinging today.
Yep, and that was my bad as well. With the color swaps, I got confused for a second. There's Reinhardt's actually who are in the 20% lead, and I need to grow that further at this point. And this is a very common strategy as well on Elephant Astana. Whenever a team they cap the objective, they play super aggro in. And look at just the tag team, man. Rest and Santi Jabali with the auto tracking mow down. Rest landing shots like no one's business. Ultimate already charged up. The Reinhardts, they continue the reign of dominance.
Yeah, with now only just getting swapped again over the Dodgers. They're going to try and answer with a Johnny Jet, but in the rollout fight, the Johnny Jet had no counter, had no answer itself, so didn't play the mirror matchup, and Johnny was just running around taking names. And Rest, you can see, already starting off 4-0 on this map, and Zeta once again has fallen 2 kills to the better for the side of the Reinhardts. They are dominating this first opening matchup.
Oh, it's more than that, man. They're doing so much. Isagi, what's he doing? He's staggered by himself. Didn't even wait to retreat with his teammates to go for another team push. That's going to buy precious extra time and percent as well for the Reinhardts. And to boost as well, I have to say, Rest, one thing I want to point out is that he uses active ability to hold the outside lane. So if any flankers came from that side, he would get a heads up notification ASAP. Picking off Labula as well. This is what they should be doing as the mobile character. Unfortunately, this time it didn't work out, but Fates is there on the trade onto Feder out. They have at least one tank down. Flanker v flanker, and it's not going too well once again for the Dodgers. They get forced back into their spawn and staggered, spread apart.
Santi has the ultimate ready to clear off the point. Now lets it rip and is starting to just push away the tank player from the side of the Dodgers, and 94%. Santi has again got that pocket stuck right to him like glue. And that's been such a key, pivotal moment, I guess, or pivotal strategy for the Raihards. They are all in on this tank.
It's done, man. Dodgers, they've got no answer. They weren't even present on Elephant Astana. Like, that's all I have to say. Simply put, Raihards, they came into this matchup today with an absolute vengeance, fire under their bums.
Wow, what a dominant way to kick off this grand final. Raihards absolutely bringing the heat. We said that Dodgers were, in theory, the favored team, right? We said that they haven't been challenged this whole bracket, and I think we finally found a challenger. Bang! It feels like all of our expectations have been dashed, and we're in for a real ride here.
Yes, and that's the absolute joy of, I just can't say this enough. Watching Santi play with his team is just so beautiful. You see an in-game leader that really knows how to use the strategy to his advantage. He knows how to assess the team that he's up against. He watches their replays. I mean, you can see it in the gameplay. They've seen every single Dodger play in this league, and they've come up with a strategy, and they've executed it flawlessly. And we can definitely see that, especially in that first round. Santi just, hey, this is working out for me. Perfect 7-0 game, like right off the bat. And also, I don't think we were giving enough credit out there to Zoros. Playing the healer, doing a great job keeping Santi at a perfect life bar so we can just stay in front of the team the entire time and just soak up every single team fight. And great coverage coming from his flankers, the guy playing JJ, I believe that was Rest. And then Rest just go ahead and just takes over the game in game 2 with that perfect 4-0 in the opening 30 seconds of the match. Just, it's just wonderful to see these guys just adapt to the teams that they're up against, take on the challenge, accept the challenge, and just wow.
You lost for words. I don't blame you at all, mate.
How do you explain it?
I don't know if it's Raihards. Really, their preparation worked perfectly, even in that first round smash, right? Like, it was 23% kicking off the round for Dodgers, and then it was from 0 to 100. Raihards never let up, and then another 0 to 100 in the second round. That is pure dominance.
Yeah, it was. They did give up that neutral fight, but they didn't look too stressed about it. They were just working on getting that numbers advantage and getting the capture point for themselves. And you mentioned the healer play, the Zoros play on the side of Raihards. I mean, it's good to keep your tank alive, but it's even more impressive to keep yourself alive that whole time. And that's the key thing, because you can overextend a little bit to keep Santi alive, but that never happened. It was always just in a perfect position to stay alive and never really under that much pressure.
Quite the opposite story for Dodgers. They were constantly under pressure. They fought tooth and nail both rounds to try and edge out some overtime when Raihards were on the verge, that 99%. But it just wasn't going to happen, Digital. And that's already a great result on Control Elephant Astana for the Raihards. They're 1-0 up in the series, and we could be finished very quickly, depending on how Brower's Dock goes here on this Payload Escort Extended. I really hope we go to full 3, though, Digital. It feels inevitable. We've got to go to the full 3, surely. This isn't going to be a 2-0 upset, but in favor of the underdogs.
Well, look, I hope we do see Old Medina. Yesterday, after watching it, I really enjoyed it, and I really want to see how teams they can, show more of what they've learned so far on such a big and diverse map. But at this rate, I might have to agree with you. Raihards, they're looking too hot to stop at this point. Everyone, all 5 players are on board. Rest his flanks as Johnny Jet, and just picking off the supply players with excellent timing is unbelievable. Zoros as hell. He was on point. Flip, dude, that shell is just dealing so much damage up front and personal. Santi, no more has to be said about him. Fates, he's landing big shots from the backlines.
Well, let's have a look at the hero bands now that we're going to Payload Escort on Brower's Dock. Let's switch things up a little bit. Not too much of a switch. We've got the Hunter band out and the Gatlin again, but the Aletta has slipped on through. What are you expecting to see from this one now that we know what the bands are for the second map, Bang?
I think they're getting a little comfortable here, and they're just going to see, how big of a threat is their Aletta. If it is a big threat, then, maybe Old Medina will go ahead and just ban out Aletta again. If not, then, let them keep their Aletta, and we'll just keep smashing on through them. I mean, so far it looks like Raihards has the upper hand here. They have the perfect team synergy happening there. Good teamwork happening there. Great positioning. They know exactly where to put their tank, put their healer, and how to, work the flanks and work the angles and control the objective. Let's see how it works when the objective is moving this time.
I don't think we saw any Hunter in that first map, but it's a very different story on
Briefly.
Payload, right?
Yeah. We
One
saw
life
Hunter-
maybe.
Yeah, maybe just at the very start, coming out on Zeta, I think it was. But that initial composition did not work out at all. The instant swap.
So you expect to see, the Aletta come in and make a big impact here now that we're on escort?
Yeah, I'd say Osis, Aletta. I think those two will be very popular picks. If they do try and go with a 3 damage dealer out, a Johnny Jet in there as well, but I think it will be 2-2-1. Osis has been so strong on this map. You've just got so many angles to play with, and it comes down to a little bit about who enables their Osis to the best on these Payload escort maps. It does, with Reinhardt dominating so hard, it does make you question after Colt. It makes them look a little bit stronger, doesn't it? You got to think how hard Reinhardt will push by them, and after Colt will be sitting back looking into this, being like, oh, what if? As you see the hero picks start to come in now. No Osis on the attacking side though. That's a bit odd for me.
Yeah. Not yet, but then again, I wouldn't really treat
swap
these
it
as
out,
the final picks as well. Hua Ling, we haven't seen her played at all in the 5v5 new meta, isn't that right, Pam?
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be a quite interesting match. If I was Dodgers, I would just save Santi for last and get rid of everybody else. Oh, what's we have a Victor.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Now he's on JJ. All right,
Yeah,
Rest
there
is
we go.
playing with us.
Yeah. So there you go. There's your wish granted. There's the Osis.
Yeah, so it is Reinhardt on the defense. Of course, they've already moved out of their spawns. Are unlikely to swap. They are playing that 3 DPS route. It looks like with the. Looks like they're playing a bit of Osis, a bit of Johnny Jet. Johnny Jet's so powerful on this first point and on Payload Escort, just for stalling that card out. And because of the time bank rules, it makes it so much more valuable. Being able to stop that card is something very, very, very important. What else is going to be important is how they can try and get Santi out of the way and off the cart, get onto that backline and start taking out these healers, because that was the key on that control map.
Santi's trying to engage really aggressively right now before he gets forced back, though. The double flanker composition coming up from Reinhardt is not really working out. Rest might have to retreat to safety. He's super low, but it's basically a team-wide Brian. He's stepped up now to the occasion. Man's coming in with a vengeance, takes down a double K with Santi in tow as well. Composer, a Sentry, actually does make the fine one, and its Payload is actually making really steadfast progress.
Yeah, so the attacking composition with the Aletta and the Skadi instead of the Osis means that they do have a little bit more fast pace. The Osis is a little slower, a little harder hitting, but is a bit more susceptible to the dive. As you can see there, the Aletta just takes them out straight away. So Skadi can kind of stand and fight a little bit more, a little bit better. So I'm expecting some faster paced action from the side of the Dodgers here.
Yeah, as well, and Isagi, now that Aletta has been let through the hero bans, the guy's going on a bit of a tear, and if he's what Shuri has hyped him up to be, he's going to be one hell of a player to keep your eyes on. But for the most part, just as I say that, he does get taken down though, and Reinhardt's against all odds, just in front of the first checkpoint. He's starting to mow down all the players of the Dodgers, but not without their own losses. Flip going monstrous, a 2K, taking down the tanks, and it's a matter of time before Zeta falls.
It's such a messy fight though, it's not clean at all, and the attacker spawn is pretty decently close, so they might choose to kind of spew on in here and try and race them back to the cart, but it looks like Santi's back, large and in charge. You see Flip again just putting more and more aggression in. Flip was beautiful yesterday on this Aletta, and looks like it's just carrying on onto today as well.
Yeah, and I have to say as well, Zoros, he does get taken down by Isagi, unfortunately. Good job on Isagi's part. But Zoros, the overheal at certain points, it just gives, the flankers who are a little bit more squishy some more shields and HP to work with should they get in deep and dirty. And another team fights, this time Dodgers. They're starting off very, very well. Heavy man disadvantage for the Reinhardts. There's the ultimate pops, and it's onto Santi of all players. He does get one onto Composer. Sindri's down, Zoros goes down. Santi's the second onto Federal. This guy's staying alive.
Still got the ultimate to play with as well on Santi, so there's still a lot of hope for them holding out here in this point. 1 minute remaining on the clock, only about 3.5 meters to go. No sneaky Aletta plays here, having to force out all of these cooldowns getting forced out now. Flip, very low themselves, but does have the cooldowns ready to go, which means that, again, Asagi, they've just been pushed out. I mean, this Aletta duel is going heavily in the way of Flip in the second half of the first phase.
Look, as much as I hate to say, I don't know what Isagi was thinking in that certain moment. Everyone on the Reinhardts was basically so close to the payload, and he just got himself staggered. Now his team has to wait for him to respawn before he can get in and go for another flank play again. The Reinhardts' defense, 20-ish seconds now, just to wait for the round to end. If they can push back the payload even further, this first checkpoint is going to be, honestly, really troublesome for the Dodgers, if not even more so than it is.
Yeah, very last roll of the dice for the side of the Dodgers. And this angle here from Fates is actually an absolute banger. Just unanswered, skeet shooting, taking shots, pot shots. And even if you don't hit the headshots, you're doing so much damage, chunking them down in the body.
Wow.
Everyone so low on the side of Reinhardt, but as long as you got 1 HP, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Nope, it does not. Dodgers,
Good defense.
It feels like they tunnel vision towards the end there, and Fates, despite being in such an open position, no one even picked him out. He did the damage, didn't have to land the headshots, but it was a massive cleanup for the rest of his team. But still, though, I have to say, once again, the Reinhardts, it's such a stark contrast to compare to how either they were playing yesterday and just how dominant they are today.
Well, I think there's a lot about, just thinking back to yesterday, I think it's a lot about this tank matchup. Santi is dominating, is getting away with absolute murder and creating much space for the team. And yesterday, Mr. Destroy was on the Jabali, kind of facing up versus Santi, and Mr. Destroy is one of those star players from Aftercold that kind of warrants a lot of attention himself. So, I mean, this could be kind of a little bit of a mismatch in the tank play here, but they are getting around Santi very well. I mean, it looked great for Dodgers. They came out of the blocks absolutely hooning. Oh, Diggy? Yes, please.
For the boys, for a bit.
Look, yeah, they were absolutely hooning, and then they got stopped down. It can be hard. That last fight, your spawn is so far away. You're always getting baited in. If you get 2 or 3 picks, you're kind of getting baited into spewing onto the point and trying to get it just tipped over the line, but it didn't happen. And it looks like the Diggy won't happen either. So, Fate's broken my heart.
I lean forward and everything.
Hey, Bang, I do want to say, though, it feels like that for the Dodgers, their team composition flexibility isn't actually as deep as a lot of the other teams that we've seen.
Oh, they seem to...
Exactly.
Yeah, go on, Bang.
Oh, no, I'm disagreeing. It's... Wow. They seem to have, like, a really linear strategy, just, up in the face, get up close and personal, and just try and, like, bulldoze their way through, but it doesn't seem to be working out in their favor.
No, sir. No, sir. Not with Fates from high ground as well, picking people off. Flip, getting the better of Federal on the flankers. Once again, a big shot onto Isagi, who's out there by himself. He's overextending Ben. Cindric is not that good of a healer at that range.
No, and I think this might come down to the fact that the Dodgers, they hadn't really been tested. They hadn't really had to problem solve this whole time, and now it's coming down to it. They've got to problem solve their way out of this one. Reinhardt do lose rest, which will lose a little bit of space on the map themselves, but they're quite comfortable just to keep pushing in here. Nothing really has been stopping them too much so far. The side of Dodgers need to start getting some of these picks on the back line. Maybe let Santi just kind of roam around for a little bit and try and address this backline pressure that's kind of coming out.
Oh, dude, they're just destroying everyone on the side of the Dodgers. Rest as well, when he throws down the active ability, it's just that pseudo 6th man as well, a kind of a sentry turret of sorts. It's doing so much damage to the Dodgers as you saw in the moment there. And also Zoras as well. This guy's a healer master. Switching over to Iris as well, just having that little pocket, little healing thing onto Flip, so they have to be always so present next to them to keep them healthy. And he himself can just stay on the objective and do so much damage. That's the payload cap. Super quick. I can't believe it. Talk about seeding, man. Reinhardts, they barely even got out of bed.
Wow, what a game. Not even getting to the first cap on Dodge's attack at that checkpoint, and then just absolutely, I mean, you said walking it in. They flew it in there. That payload was just magnetized to that checkpoint. Bang, that's the series over. That's a Reinhardt 2-0. I think I'm going to call you out. Before we went live, you were saying no matter what, this is going to 2-1. Like, this is going to be a great series. And now we're sitting here, 30 minutes after we went live, and Reinhardt has already taken down Dodgers.
Yeah, it definitely looked like that upper bracket was a little bit easier than that lower bracket. Reinhardt's had a little bit of a challenge, and I think that's what gave them the upper edge coming into the finals, whereas Dodgers going up against a few new teams, not a lot of challenges, being able to lay back, kick back, and relax. I guess it boosted their confidence a little too much. They got a little cocky, and it bit them in the end.
Yeah, Digital, it was less than half the time Reinhardt's needed than what it took Dodgers to get it to that 99 meter mark. unreal. Reinhardt's were just on another level, and it's the same story once again. The read is just always there.
The read, and I think that Reinhardt as well, just their playstyle as a team is the perfect counter to the side of the Dodgers. You know, as Bang was saying, Dodgers, their playstyle is very aggressive, it's very in your face, but that's only against teams that cannot handle the pressure. For a team like Reinhardt, you've got like, you know, world-class healers, Zoros, keeping Santi alive for so long, and just makes, you know, the damage dealing in your face aggression that much harder for the Dodgers to actually finish the job. And on the back lines, for some reason, Fates, I don't even know, was this guy invisible? He was going unchecked for the entire series.
We talked a lot about that Osis, and man, did we see it in action.
Yeah, there's so many threats on the side of Reinhardt. You got Santi in your face doing so much damage, looking like it never drops the health bar. But then you've also got Flip in the background, just absolutely wreaking havoc as well. We saw 2Ks, 3Ks out of Flip. And then what are you going to do to address the Osis as well? There's too many problems to solve at the moment. With this Reinhardt's team, when you go up against them, you kind of need to figure out which one's going to be the most key on this map for us to shut down, and it just didn't happen from the side of Dodgers.
Yeah, now that we look holistically at the series, no, Old Medina is necessary. Bang, it was a 2-0, it was a quick one, and we really got to see Reinhardt, I think especially on their attack of Payload Escort, they show what they're made of.
Definitely. Reinhardt was playing like they had a curfew. I can't believe it was so fast.
Yeah, that it was.
Yeah,
I can't
Santi the immovable object.
Yeah, that's right. So hard to take down, and for Dodgers, that's a disappointing end to what was previously a flawless run through the bracket.
Yeah, you know, Dodgers, like I said, you know, they just probably weren't tested as much compared to the previous teams who just got completely run over by the aggression and the pace of Dodgers. And it's just, seriously, Zoras, yesterday I was hyping up Crazed so much for Aftercult as such a good healer, but today I see an even better one. His flex depth is just unbelievable. I'm sure he can play Labula. His Neon, probably one of the biggest pros we've seen, advocates of Neon, coming into season this new season, and he's played it to perfection for the most part, keeping his teammates alive for so long, himself staying alive, popping the ultimates for those crucial big team fight moments, keeping Santi alive with the invincibility. Look, I think it made all the difference.
Yeah, wow, and Aftercult probably looking at this thinking, damn, we put up a much bigger fight to Reinhardt's than Dodgers did, hey?
Yep.
And yet they didn't make it through. They're going to have to play the wildcards if they're looking to make season finals.
I think that the wildcards might be a pretty good option for them, though, because there is going to be patch coming out. There's going to be balance changes. We know that. We've seen it on the YouTube channel. And it's going to give them so much practice in that official setting, and there's no substitute for official practice. Anyone that's ever played a competitive game, scrims are great and all, but there's always that level below an official practice. So Aftercult, they could come into the finals overall if they do make it through the wildcards, looking pretty strong.
Yeah, and here we go, advancing to season finals. Dodgers and Reinhardt's, both of them will make it. Dodgers do get their commiseration prize, Bang, but they're not going in with great form, especially after how embarrassing that match was. They've got a lot to work on in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. I really hope they take this time to look at these replays and look at their other replays and really assess their champ pool and really look at the diversity on their team and really start, you know, thinking about what's their meta. What are you guys going to do to improve on these weaknesses and setbacks that you guys are facing these finals? Because, I mean, going into the next series, these are a lot tougher teams, and I hope and pray you guys don't go up against one of the exclusive teams first, because that'll be a really tough lesson.
Yeah,
I hope you guys adapt and you're ready for it.
Yeah, I have no doubt that they'll be doing their best to be ready for it, but playing against exclusive, as we saw last season finals, it's no joke. Those exclusive teams really know what they're doing. They've already qualified for the season finals because they were top 2 in the previous season for Arena League. And they're the ones to beat right now. But if I'm on one of those exclusive teams, exclusive Easy, exclusive Argons, whatever they're calling themselves now, I'm looking at a team like Reinhardt, and I'm not taking them lightly because they have been dominating here. And that match against Dodgers is proof in the pudding.
Yeah, perhaps. And not only Sabut as well, you were talking about the new season patch notes as well, which is going to come into effect before, I believe, the final stage. So even if you are the exclusive teams and you've been sitting back the whole time, strategizing, thinking of how to play, explore your hero pool for 5 new players now on their teams, it's not going to be a sit-back lounge session for them. They also have to be on the research. They have to be testing what works, what doesn't anymore. So it's no easy go of things for all the teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, of course, as we're starting to wrap up today, I mentioned it at the start of today, but don't forget that we have this giveaway going at the moment. The code is on screen right now. And if you don't enter, then you are missing out. Of course, it does close at the end of today, so you only have a couple of hours to get in there. Make sure you don't miss it. Another thing that we would love your help with is this feedback survey that we've got going on at the moment. We're going to drop it in the chat. We would love if you could contribute your thoughts, how you've thought that the league has gone so far, and what you'd like to see in the future. We would really appreciate that. But aside from that, we've got the wildcards coming up very shortly. And of course, we don't have a stream here, but I have no doubt that you'll be able to follow the action on all the content creators that will be participating. And we have some big names that will be playing through those that we're heavily anticipating. For me, the name on my lips is Aftercall. I cannot wait to see what they're made of in those wildcards where they are the top dog.
Yeah, I feel like the Aftercall will be the team to beat going into those wild cards. But I mean, if you're playing at home and you're just a casual player, get some mates together and give it a go. I mean, there's nothing better than competing with your mates, problem-solving things, playing the game you love. I can't wait to see the new faces that come out through that wild card as well. But yeah, for me, Aftercall, they've got to be the favorites going into that one.
Yeah, and bang, I mean, it's a big community, right? There are so many people just watching from home right now, and I mean, absolutely, just sign up, give it a crack, because I think if in the 5v5 format we've learned anything, it's that anything is possible, and anything could happen on the day. You could sign up and make it through to season finals.
Exactly, guys. The Wild Cards is an open event for all teams, new, experience, whatever. Make sure you guys are following us, T3 Arena, on Twitter, and also visit that Discord to look for all the signups that are happening with some of our community tournaments as well. And also, to see, more events out there, more teams for you guys and clubs to join and scrim against, and, get your experience up, get your gameplay up, because best believe Dodgers and everybody else that's entering the Wild Cards are going to be doing that in this meantime. So why not get your foot in the door? Sign up now and fill out that survey.
Don't forget about the survey. Sign-ups for wildcards do open up on Monday, so make sure that you jump in there. And of course, we have the season finals coming up on Saturday, 5th of August. We will bring that to you guys. Of course, a little bit of a break. August seems like a long way away, but I assure you it will be here before too long, and we'll be back again broadcasting the finals for that with your favorite teams like Raihards. Another chance for Dodgers. We're going to finally get to see those exclusive teams, and of course the winners of the wild cards back in action for that. But thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a pleasure bringing you some more T3, and we'll see you for season finals. Stay safe.
Like the rose, if we dream it, believe it, we'll fall into wonder. Walk with me, talk with me, for a little bit, let's get into it. Walk with me, high times, low key, a minute down. Lay back, afternoon chills, Eastside dads getting lost in stories. Sunbathe watches and stills. It's for freedom, a kingdom so weightless and tender. Chasing it up in place. Cast